Hello and welcome to this session brought to you by the Academy of Practical Accounts in conjunction with your institution. In this session, we'll look at mileage allowance or a transport refund. How is it recorded? Now, this mileage allowance, as can be seen here, these are rates approved by the government for businesses where personal means of transport are used. If you use a personal car or van, then you can deduct 45 pence per mile made on business purposes. If it's a motorcycle, then it's 24 pence per mile. And if it's a bike, then it's 20 pence per mile. So the miles made are multiplied by the allowance per mile to get the amount of refund you should get back from the business. Now, this normally arises in a situation where a personal vehicle is used as opposed to a business vehicle. Probably the business doesn't have a vehicle, so you're using a personal vehicle. And in that case, you can claim back 45p per mile that is made. Now, the document we have here is a payment voucher prepared by the business to the owner. And on this voucher, it says that a total of 9,500 miles were made in the year. So the rate per mile is 45p, and the amount to claim from the business is 4,275. So that is basically what we need to record in this transaction. Okay, so let's go to the device, and remember, all expenses are recorded using one form. That is form number 2. Let's rotate our device to the horizontal layout to see more of the form. Let's drag this. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it up here. Essentially, we should be able to see the amount. Okay, let's condense this. Okay, let's get back to the device and see. We should be able to see the amount. Not yet. I think this should go up there, and we get the device below here. Now we can ignore what is below here. Ignore that. It won't go easily, but let's try to ignore that. Okay, so we are recording that document. This is the mobile device. Remember, the date is preset, and what happens is this form comes with a document number. Okay, the document number is 6. Now, if I hadn't done this before, I should be copying number 6 onto the document using a red pen, and you'll circle your number. That one matches the transaction being recorded to the source document. And ideally, we're supposed to support the expense we are going to record. Now, the account which paid is cash, which is pre-selected. And remember, we only have one expense account. So the task here basically is to record the amount of 4,275. That is 4,275. Okay. And maybe what we can do is to modify the narration. So we're going to say this is what transport refund or mileage allowance, any of the two, provided you understand what is recorded. Transport refund. Okay, now let's click on the device, and I think we're now ready to save. So we drag this up here and we click save and close. Save and close, and that's it. Now the next thing to look at is the double entry. Now for double entry, we need to look at it in the portrait layout. So we scroll down and we get to periodic tasks and reports, and we scroll down, we get to the general ledger P5, that is report P5. And remember, we are recording for month 12, not month 1, so there's no data for month 1. So we scroll down to month 12, and that's where we shall see the transactions. Now, this is the 6th transaction we have recorded. Now, let's do a bit of pinching. We should be able to see more on the screen. We drag this down here. We do a bit of pinching. Yes. Now, transaction number 6. Transaction number 6, we credited. Now, this money came from the cash account, 4275. It came from the cash account and it went to the all expenses account. And what we did is the narration. It's a transport refund. So when we look at the all expenses account, the first one was resale stock, the second was faulty stock returned, and this one is a transport refund. Same applies to the cash account here. That one went to income. That one came from income. This is a sales refund. This is resale stock paid using 3920. Faulty stock 60 was got back, and the transport refund 4275 was paid. Now we need to make a correction to transaction number 2. This one should be income. So let's go back to the transaction edit. We are supposed to look at that feature at some stage. Now it's in miscellaneous and is at the bottom here, transaction edit. We are looking at, yes, this one. So we scroll to the right, we find the edit button. Scroll up and we click the edit button, and we should modify that word. We should add an E. So we add an E and we update. And that's it. So we go back to our general ledger and see if it looks fine. We can look at that a little bit later. Anyway, we have corrected that. Now we have seen the double entry. What we need to see now are the reports affected. Which reports are affected by this transaction? Now what happens is, this is the 6th document recorded. We have not deleted anything, and probably the number of reports affected increases with an increase in transactions. They don't get fewer. Now this transaction, the money came from cash account, so M2 was directly affected. And then let's see what was paid for goes to G3. That's G3. That's where we're going to find that amount. Let's have a quick look at G3. So we come to our mini year-end reports checklist and we scroll down to G3. We want to see if we can trace the 4275. Now this is a year-end report. Now the difference between this and what we have seen is a monthly general ledger. That was month 12, and this is an annual ledger account. This is account 25, so the 4275 is there. If you've got time, please take trouble to look at each of these reports. They are all affected by the transactions recorded to date. The bank account was affected, the bank one summary, the cash accounts, the capital account was affected. There is a 400 in there. We've looked at this. Turnover was year-end comparative trial balance. Well, we shall be looking at these in the next few sessions. I think the task for this particular session has been achieved, whereby we recorded a refund for the transport expense incurred on behalf of the business, which is also known as a mileage allowance. Thank you.